I'm very happy to be the host of today's panel discussion on the topic New Stars of Data Speaker Experiences. Before we dive into the topic as quickly as possible, let me say a few words about my expectation of this session and my preferences for this session. So, as panel discussion already highlights, this is not a deep dive technical session with a lot of slides or some, let's say, highly prepared content that won't allow us to actually be flexible, be interactive. But what we actually want to do, as we are at New Stars of Data, at another occurrence of this amazing event, we want to use the opportunity to actually share insights from amazing speakers who had their first sessions at the other two New Stars of Data occurrences in the past, to allow them to actually bring some thoughts on how they experienced their first steps as a speaker, what they think was helpful to them or rendered them support, and what is maybe also some experiences on what makes being a speaker so interesting. And hopefully some people in the audience might get interested or might be curious about becoming a speaker themselves. So that would be great. But as I said, this is interactive. So we prepared some questions and I will actually just moderate a little bit, ask the questions to the amazing panelists. But I would be very happy if you as the audience would also utter any kind of question that would be interesting to you. So you can either put the questions in the chat and I will phrase them, or if you would like to ask a question in person, please just use the raise hand signal and I will have a look at the chat and the participants list and will try to find a good moment to actually allow you to unmute and ask your question in person. We all would be very happy if you would be interested and would like to interact with us, because we're here to actually interact with people and not to be just someone on the screen. So with that, let me hand over to the amazing 4 panelists, which I already mentioned. So let us just take a few seconds to actually, and I just have to switch to the next slide, but my PowerPoint refused working, I'm sorry. So let's just say welcome to the 4 panelists we have here. As I mentioned, amazing speakers who all had their first experiences at New Stars of Data. And I will hand over to you to maybe give a brief introduction of yourself before we get started. Alpa, would you like to start?
Yeah, hi all. Thank you for this panel discussion. And I would like to thank you, Gabby and Ben and other team member as well. So yeah, I am Alpa Budpati and I'm working as Azure consultant here in UK. And I'm working in Microsoft technology, like Azure, especially in Azure and data side. And I like to keep learning new things and I would like to share new things. So yeah, that's from me.
That's very cool. Dipti, how about you?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Gabby, for hosting this panel discussion today. Thank you so much, Ben, for giving me the opportunity. Second time at New Stars of Data. I never thought I would be here again in New Stars of Data, so I'm really excited and looking forward to the panel. So myself, I'm a database administrator with 7 years of experience, and I just started speaking at New Stars of Data 1, and that's how I started my speaking career. And I'm really liking it. And basically, I'm still as a DVA, and I wanted to learn Azure more. So I'm speaking a lot about Azure, basics of Azure. So yeah, keep learning, keep failing, keep growing, keep learning. That is what I am. I'm here.
That is very cool. And we want to hear more of that later on. But let's hand over to the third panelist at our roundtable. Lina, would you say a few words about yourself?
Of course. First, I also want to say thank you, Gabby, for being the moderator, and also a big shout out to Ben and Will, another amazing event. And for myself, I'm Lena. I actually started my career 2 years ago. First, I was working almost a little bit more than a year and a half as a SQL Server DBA. I just switched, and currently I'm a data engineer. I have always been passionate about data and data technologies. And similar to what JP said, I think there's so many things that you want to learn. And if you're curious, there's constantly opportunities to research a little bit. And yeah.
Very cool. And Nicola, you're the last one, the last but not the least one in our round. So how about you?
Yeah, thanks. First of all, as already those three nice ladies said, thank you, Gabi, for joining us and moderating the session. And again, thanks to Ben and William for organizing this event. I have nothing but the fond memories from the first edition of New Stars of Data. Yeah, that was my first experience, and in the meantime, a lot of good things, nice things happen. Yeah, basically, I'm working now as a manager analytics in Avanade, joint company from Microsoft and Accenture. Blogging, speaking in the meantime, a lot of speaking engagements. I also became a Microsoft Data Platform MVP. So as I said, since the first edition of New Stars of Data, a lot of nice things happened to me. So I have nothing but the fond memories and nothing but the best possible words for New Stars of Data. And I would like to encourage others also to follow this path that we took.
Okay, very cool. So with this, I think we don't need the slides any longer. Let's focus on the people instead. Thanks already for the introductory words, and I would like to add my thanks to Ben and William for organizing this event, especially. They organize a lot of very amazing events, but having this event and granting new speakers an easier way to get started, to maybe overcome some of the burdens and the hurdles that you might actually face if you want to start speaking. I think that's an absolute amazing topic and amazing task. And Ben and William are just great in being inclusive, in helping people overcome their own fears and their own anxieties. And I think those are also topics that we would like to discuss during this session. And let's get started with the first question to actually highlight on those topics. So Alpa, what made you start considering speaking publicly, to actually start as a technical speaker?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Devi. Luckily, I have attended in 2019 SQL Beats in Manchester. So I have met a lot of good people, like experienced people around the world. And then I won a ticket to attend the PASS Summit 2019 in Seattle. So I was really happy for that, and I visited Seattle, and I met a lot of experienced and expert people, and they inspire me a lot. And then I got to know that there are Saturday, SQL Saturday is available, and there are other user groups, which it's a free 1-day training. So then I come back into UK and I've started attending SQL Saturday every Saturday. And then I realized, then one day I saw the advertise in New Star of Data where said that they can help us, they can mentor us, and they can motivate us. So I said, let's start with that. And then I submitted it, and then it's selected. And then I really happy that I did that. It changed my life. So yeah, New Star of Data and especially Ben help a lot. Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you so much. And Dipti, similar experiences, or did something else motivate you?
Yeah, mine is a complete different story. I'll just give an overview of why in the first place I started. Before that, speaking has been a therapy for me since a year. Now I'll tell you why it's a therapy for me, because a year ago I was in a complicated, hostile, and toxic environment, workplace environment, where I lost, I lost confidence in me. I lost everything. So I was in the dark side of my life at that moment, and I do not know how to come out of it, because that's so much to take as a human being. I was hanging around. I was sitting in a room. I'm not disturbed by anybody else, But I thought there should be a way to come out of it. So I was searching for the ways. I wanted to more focus on the technical content, learn more stuff. So I was following Brento's blog post, and I was going through that while I was learning. Kathy Kellingberg has helped me to create a blog post, and then she just told like, hey, there is a SQL family here out there on Twitter, and you can go ahead and you can look around. You'll get more opportunities over there, like speaking, etc. So I just opened the Twitter, and then one day I was looking around. I'm still new to Twitter. I don't even know how to navigate all Twitter, right? So one day I saw this post from Ben Wiesman and William Durking saying, "Hey, the new stars of data is here, and we can help you. Uh, you'll also get the mentor and everything to help you out." But I'm so much introvert. I like being alone. I like to sit alone all the day. I like my own space, but I don't want that to stop me, because I wanted a way out of that negativity. So uh, I just went ahead and I submitted a session, prayed to God not to pick up. And you know why? Because I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. I don't even know how I'll do it. But then, I really am fortunate enough to got Deborah Milking as my mentor, and she was there with me. She gave me that confidence, which I totally do not have it in me. She gave me so much confidence that I was able to speak for the first time, and I was not fearful of the failure, because anyway, I thought for the first time I'll see the failure, but that's okay. That's okay to move forward and do it more, so that will be comfortable. So I'm out of that negativity completely, and that has been a therapy, and that is the sole reason of why I'm continuously speaking. Many people have the question like, "Hey, Deepti, 137 to 140 session in 8 months is like too much. What are you trying to accomplish?" I am trying to accomplish to get out of my negativity, and to feel confident about myself, to get that self control again, to be confident enough, and then to get that. As I speak more, I'm like confident, and I'm liking it. So it has been a therapy since a year, and also it will be a therapy in the future as well.
That's absolutely amazing. And let me say thank you very much for sharing that experience and that personal feelings with us. That's really amazing. And I think it only shows how important speaking actually can be for each of us in our own individual way, and how amazing the community actually is, and how much support and how much strength this SQL family can actually give to all of us. But thanks for sharing that, Dipti. Lina, I think you have a different story to tell, but would you share with us as well?
Of course. I think that in one word, if I have to tell what my story feels like, it's just pure luck. Because when I actually started my GBA career, I actually landed up in amazing team. So we were a small team of 5 people, and the other 4 people, they were already really involved in the SQL family. They were active speakers. I want to say massive thanks to John Martin, Jess Pomfret, Mike Glinowski, and Jonathan Allen, because I definitely think that they're amazing. So they actually introduced me to the SQL family. They introduced me to the whole community, and like I had no idea about any of those events. So I actually started attending those events just because they were my colleague, and I wanted to see what they're presenting and to support them. And I was admiring them. I was feeling like I was thinking of them like superstars, because I was like, I would never be able to present in front of people. I would never have the courage and all of those things. So a few months after watching many events, I thought one day it will be amazing if I can present myself as well. But then it came to the choice of like, which event exactly I can present to, because I just don't have the confidence to do it. Like, those people are amazing. They have so much background and like knowledge. I would never be able to compare with them. And it was actually my team who pointed me to New Studies of Data. And I was like, that's amazing. Finally, I feel like this event could be a good opportunity for me to give it a go, see if I like it, see if I enjoy it. And not gonna lie, I was really nervous, but like, I think that once you do it, it's a little bit addictive, because you just really like all of the feedbacks coming, and like you just feel more involved in the community. Everyone's friendly, everyone's so involved. So yeah, that's how everything started. As I said, pure luck, but I feel so fortunate because of it.
Thanks so much. And I can only share your experiences and can just support everything you said. But Nicola, what are your experiences, or your what was actually your motivation to start speaking?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't have motivation. So those folks on quizzes, when they ask them who registered you for the quiz, and it's my family friend, so it was similar with me. So I didn't know about New Stars of Data, and Miloš Divojevic, I think you all know him. He's a SQL Server expert located here in Austria, my fellow countryman, and he sent me the link and told me if I want to submit a session. I was like, no, I don't have enough knowledge to give a session to other people. And he was like, yeah, just submit and don't worry. And I was thinking, and it was like maybe 2 or 3 days before the deadline, and I just let it go, like, Deputy, please don't select me. And
Yeah, literally I felt that way.
yeah. But of course, luckily I was selected, and after that everything went in a completely other direction. Another talkings, another speaking, another events. Also, before New Stars of Data, I was just attending events, so SQL Saturdays and other conferences. But so Miloš basically moved me into this. So I would always be grateful to him for this.
Yeah, I can understand that. And it's so interesting to see that we all have so different backgrounds, so different motivations to actually get started, but all of us are here right now. And you all mentioned people that influenced you, that helped you actually get started. But most of you already mentioned some support that is actually granted by New Stars of Data specifically to help new speakers to find their way more easily, and that is the mentors you already mentioned. So what's your experience? Is a mentor really something which helps overcome the anxieties? Nicola, would you just continue?
Yeah, absolutely. So continuing on this, so I was lucky enough to have Wolfgang Strasser as my mentor. He's also located here in Austria. He's a very, of course, he's an expert in data platform field, also an MVP, and but moreover, he's such a positive and supportive person. So since the very first beginning, since our first meeting, he was so supportive, gave me so many wonderful tips. I can't even remember at this moment all of them, but it was so helpful, and we had meetings like once per week, going through rehearsals, trying to improve something, trying to this is good, this is not good, and in the end, from this perspective, I would say for the people who are considering maybe starting speaking, it's possible. Without having mentor, of course, it's possible, but it's much easier, believe me, if you have someone who is experienced to give you a few tips along the way and to give you that kind of confidence and then support when it's needed, when you are starting and you are not sure if this is for me or not. So basically, also huge thanks to Wolfgang for his time and patience, and yeah.
That's really cool. Lena, you mentioned that you actually were already in a team where you had a lot of speakers or experienced speakers as co-workers. Did it make a difference for you to have a mentor as well, or was it? What was your experience?
It definitely made a huge difference. As I said, big thanks to my team. They were amazing and they were helping me a lot with the technical aspect because I was learning so much of them. So they actually gave me the ideas. However, I want to say thanks to Ken Galeto, who was my mentor from New Stars of Data. Again, extremely positive and friendly person. And it was two main things that made difference. Like she was guiding me through the whole process. Sometimes it's just hard to have an idea of the guide of the timing of when you're supposed to do what, how to get your abstract, all of those small things that it's extremely helpful when somebody points you in the right direction. And second thing is that you just definitely feel support and friend holding your hand through the whole process. It was just amazing. She teach me lots of small soft skills, how to react in different situations, how you should approach the people, how to get the audience more involved. I definitely have learned so many things from her. So yeah, having a mentor is amazing. As Nicola said, I definitely don't think you can not start speaking without a mentor. Definitely, you can prepare all of those things yourself. However, sometimes it can save you lots of time and stress when you have someone on your side. So yeah, New Stars of Data in that aspect is an amazing event to start your speaking career.
Very cool. Thank you. So Dipti, you mentioned that Katie Kellenberger, for example, helped you starting a blog and some such. And when you registered for New Stars of Data, were you aware of the situation that you would have a mentor? Was this a factor, and how was your experience?
Yeah, while submitting the abstract, right, I do not have a mentor. Like I do not even know that I'll be able to get a mentor. So I was prepared to prepare the presentation myself. But like Lena said, if you have a mentor by your side, that is completely different. I totally agree with that, especially when you are starting your speaking, right? You have no idea how to speak, or there are several things that you need to take care of, which you might think you already know, but when you go to the deep down level of the basic things, like for example, writing the title or writing the content, I have no idea. I have no idea that the less is more, right? So I used to fill it up. I do not know. Deborah Melkin was there to help me, like even at the the alphabets, you need to put the capital letters, then all the small letters, those kind of things I have no idea about. So uh, so having a mentor to take care of us while we are working on it, she still gave me that freedom of doing it on my own, but have that support, uh, that hey, anytime you need, I am here. And then we used to have a week, once a week sessions, where we used to go through the presentation and correcting all that I have to do. And we used to have the rehearsal sessions where I expected a terrible feedback, but once I completed, and I was 100% expecting, like, Deepti, this is not the way you speak. But when she gave me the feedback, Debra said, like, hey, this is good, which I never expected. So I thought, okay, so that means that I can do it. I can do it on New Stars of Data. So, but the little things, right? You otherwise, if you do not have the mentor, you would not have known about it because you are a new speaker. Like Nicola said, without the mentor, you can do it, but to be that perfect in that level, you need to have a mentor, at least for first time and couple of the other times for the next sessions as well.
Cool. So we all agree on that. Alpa, you too?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with Deepti, Nicola, and Lena about that. And I think I was very lucky that I have a mentor, and it started from New Star of Data. My mentor was Catherine Wilhelmson, and she was very supportive. We have regular meetings, and she helped me how to prepare my presentation and how, even though I have a few barriers, like Dipti said earlier, I have a language barrier and I have a communication skill barrier, and I'm introvert as well. So it's very difficult for me, but she helped me a lot. She helped me even, she gave me very good tips how I can write down my PPTs and how I present my session. And she also has scheduled a dry run session before actual session. She was present in session as well. So yeah, it really motivated me from New Star of Data, and especially Catherine Wilhelmson. Then I had another three mentor as well. One of them is Ben Kettner, who was my mentor for there is another event which is a Dativer, and he helped me a lot. He teach me something different, like how I can prepare demo, and how I can set up it in GitHubs and those kind of things. He helped me a lot. Then I had another one which is Converbic, who helped me to write down abstract, how I can write down abstract so it can be selected in another events. And he helped me how I can improve my presentation. So it's a really big help. And last but not least, which is Alexander Erwinson, who helped me to make sure that my presentation is a case study, not just a demo. So yeah, these are amazing four mentors who help me a lot and who teach me different things. Each one has teach me a very good things. So yeah, I really would like to thank them. Yeah.
Let me share my thanks to yours, because I also agree. We are happy about everybody who actually considers speaking, and so I think everybody of all the mentors you mentioned and all the other mentors at past and present events of New Stars of Data or any other conference, let's really thank them, because it's amazing, and we are all a great community, a great family, sharing knowledge, sharing experiences, and I think that is really, really worth a lot. But talking about your experiences, you all mentioned that you had several sessions in the meantime.
Yeah.
Would you share some insights on maybe your best or worst situations in your sessions you can think of? Maybe Dipti, would you like to start this time?
Yeah. To be very sincere, I do not believe that worst or the best situation, because even the worst situation that is really helping you actually here. For example, the feedback, right? Sometimes the feedback, I got both of the feedbacks, right? I also received some kind of feedback on my language. You should be also able to learn how you can navigate those kind of comments as well, and not only the positive but also negative, because from even from there you're trying to grow your confidence, and you should be able to take everything. So if you are going into the for example, the speaker, right? We are the speakers, and we should be able to take both ways, not only the positive but also the negative comments that you have. The negative doesn't mean that they are always negative. They are trying to help you to make you a better speaker. If they didn't like, and if they provide the reason why they didn't like the session, that way we will be able to go ahead and correct those things for the upcoming sessions. And if that is truly like a language or something, I still wanted to take that as a positive, because they might not understood what I'm speaking, because we are coming from diverse backgrounds, right? Maybe I can mold and I can understand them well. So I do not think, I do not believe in worst situations as a speaker I faced. Everything is a learning experience, and everything, even from the failure, you can learn something, and then you can correct it in the coming sessions as a speaker.
And I couldn't agree more, but I still think that especially if you're new, then it might be hard to actually get this insight, get this understanding, and actually feel able to deal with those bad situations, to actually
Yes.
see the advantages and learn from those. But it's an absolute amazing view on this topic that you actually mentioned.
In the
Nicola,
beginning, it will be,
sorry.
I'm sorry. In
No.
the beginning, it will be tough, but as you go as a speaker, as you continuously go ahead and present more, that is a reason like why I present more, because I can get into a good language, and then I can get that speaking skills more. Yeah, so in the beginning, it will be tough. The first bad comment that I faced, like on my language, like, hey, I couldn't understand what you're speaking. So that one hit me hard. I took time to understand, and then I'm out of it, because you must be able to take everything when you are a speaker.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, again, so Nicola, do you have an experience you want to share with us?
Yeah, sure. Just to extend on this story that Depti started on giving a feedback, it's for us when we were starting, and of course now it's also very important to get the feedback to understand what are the good things and what are not so good things. But I remember one advice that I got from Ben, one of the many, if I may say. So in the beginning, after this first session of New Stars of Data, he sent me a feedback and he wrote a message like, don't pay attention if you have like 20 feedbacks, if you have 19 positive feedbacks and 1 negative feedback without comment, don't pay attention on this. So if someone is not satisfied with my session, I would expect to, just put 3 words. You don't speak well, you speak too fast. Abstract was not relevant to the things you shown us in session. So just give me an explanation why it's bad. Giving me, just 2 stars without explaining, I don't know what was bad. That was regarding the best experience as a speaker. It's of course when someone comes back to you after the session and tells you, hey, I watched your session and I managed to solve some problem in my job or something like this. That's the most rewarding thing. But there were also some challenges. Yeah, for example, when I was presenting at one user group meeting, Power BI desktop was just keep crashing during the demo, and it never happened before. So 2 days before, day before the session, I tried everything, did a test session and everything was working fine, and it was just keep crashing. But luckily it was a user group meeting, so we were not, limited with time. So I took, instead of 1 hour, it took 1 hour and 20 minutes. But yeah, that's how I learned to pray to demo gods always.
Yeah, I think we can all share that that prayer. I agree. So, Alpa, your experience you would like to share, is it also about comments, or do you have something different?
I would like to add something more. I totally agree with what Nicola and Dipti said. So I would like to add that I was really happy because every time when I present, I learn something new and I become a better version of myself. And so I really enjoy that one. And sometimes, like after presenting my session, someone joined me in LinkedIn and they said, I really enjoyed your session. So that make me really happy that I contributed something different, something nice. And I also see that some people are very supportive. They always motivate you to be take a part in speaking events or like that. So I really enjoy those part. But in a worst part, I can say that, like Nicola also said, that sometimes demo might not work and sometimes internet problems. Because I remember I most of time I give a new session, so I have to prepare demo, and sometimes I do finish in overnight before my session up to 3 o'clock, and on that day my demo even not preparing properly. So yeah, it sometimes is happen, it take time, but eventually you will learn. Every day, every time you learn something new and new, which make you a wider person. Yeah.
Yeah, again, I can only confirm everything you said. Lina, do you share the same or similar experiences?
Yes, absolutely. I will echo all of the other folks so far. I think it will be completely similar. I can share another story, but yeah, for example, the worst situation, it's definitely not your demo not working. I remember that presentation. I have given it a few times, and I just tested it before my presentation time, and during the actual lifetime, it decided not to work. But like always, however, I think you should always take the positive, and I think you should not panic, even if your demo stop working, as long as you know what the result should be, or as long as you can continue explaining what you're supposed to show other people. I think that that's absolutely okay, because that's what happened in my situation. And after that, I received lots of positive feedback and also lots of people who were really supportive. So again, I think it was kind of bad situation that teach me lots of positive things. And the best thing about public speaking, it's not one particular situation, but every single time when after presentation somebody reach out to you and say, oh yeah, you did very well, or oh, I learned something new, just that feeling is amazing, because it means that what you just did was worth it. So yeah, it's amazing feeling.
That's very cool. And let me continue with a question that actually feels a little bit aligned to that one. You were mentioning, well, how the comments actually influenced you, how you learned from them, how you try to do better next time, how to improve, and how people also motivated you to continue speaking. But how actually continued your speaking opportunities, or how actually continued your speaker experience? How did you find new opportunities? How did you approach them? Did you actually, how was your experiences also to get chosen for another event, for example? So Lina, would you just continue on that? Did you have other other sessions afterwards?
Yeah, a few others, and also a few user groups. I think that once you start following the community on social media, everyone there is really active. So especially Pen and Will, you constantly can see all of the amazing events that they are organizing. You can find a little bit more information. So I think that once you start following the community, it's really easy to find opportunities for speaking. Also, one of the positive things about the pandemic, I think, was that lots of the user groups became virtual. So it was much easier to attend lots of user groups, and they are always looking for people who would like to volunteer, who would like to get involved. So I think that was another way. Just once I started attending a few of them, it becomes like an opportunity to practice my speaking. But yeah, I would recommend social media and just following people.
Yeah, I think that's a very good tip. And yeah, Alpa, did you do the same thing? Was it also social
Yeah,
media that helped you?
yeah, pretty much same thing. Yeah, and I follow the user group in Meetup group as well. I join different user groups, and then I ask if they have anything I can share, or they sometimes ask me if I'm available to present any session. So yeah, and
Okay.
especially social media, because I always looking call for speaker, so I
Yeah.
start applying. Yeah.
Okay, very good tip. Dipti,
Yeah.
same for you?
Yeah, same for me. Especially like like if you see my meetup group, I joined in many meetup groups just to ask the speakers. Of course, I will go ahead and listen to all the monthly meetups as well. But at the same time, that will give me ability to go ahead and ask because it's not always like we keep sitting and waiting for the opportunity to come to you. It's all about you go ahead and present yourself to them, right? So I approached many organizers, and then I was able to speak at many events. I'm really happy for that. And also the other thing is social media, like Alpa and Lena said. There is like call for speakers, hashtags, and then especially they opened up a website for the call for speakers for data professionals. And there is also something known as CFP Land, where you'll get uh, newsletters kind of with all the links for the call for speakers, where it will give you the centralized view of where you can go ahead and actually apply and submit the abstract, which is like really useful for the new speakers and for the upcoming speakers as well. So that helped me a lot.
Cool. And I also see that those links are already shared on the chat. That's amazing. Really cool.
Yeah.
But Nicolas, yeah, I think social media and community is a good one. But did you experience people approaching you, or were you also active in following all those opportunities that you got?
Yeah, it's half half. I would say for the bigger events, let's call it like that, with no offense to anyone, bigger events like conferences, like SQL Saturdays, Data Saturdays nowadays. So I'm applying myself, of course, and for user group meetings, it's usual that people that running user groups are approaching me through social media, and I always try to find the time and accommodate somehow to present for user groups, and yeah, because I know that it means for the local to building a local community, and I always try to find, if I can't make it on Saturday, let's do it on Monday, but we will find time anyhow. So it's in both directions, I would say.
Yeah, cool. And that's also interesting to see how quickly that actually evolves. And I also, as a user group lead myself, let me add that sometimes it's really hard to find speakers for new user groups, especially if you and I don't want to be to affront anybody, but if you don't want to have those amazing speakers that are already available at all the conferences, but maybe also the new ones, the unexperienced ones, the ones that are sharing more on their work relation and are not those kind of superstars and experts and gurus we are all looking to. Sometimes hard to find those people, and so I think it's amazing to do that. And let me utter my personal wish. If you are somebody like that, if you are in user groups, let's share that knowledge. Let's actually tell the user group leads, here there is somebody who is really interesting, who is interested, who is new, who wants to speak on that, and let's share that knowledge, and let's make it also easier for user group leads. But yeah, you were already mentioning that you, Nicola, let's continue with you, that you always try to make time to speak at user groups. But if somebody approaches you, do you have a kind, let's say, a kind of backlog of sessions? Are you also preparing sessions every time in new? And how do you prepare for a session actually?
Yeah. I have a backlog of sessions. I think most of us have, some range of sessions that are available at the moment. It would be hard to prepare a session for each event that you present because it requires a lot of time, as you know. So basically, I'm always talking with the user group leaders what kind of topic they would like to cover. Is it, for example, performance? Is it data visualization? Is it integration with between Power BI and other tools? So we can discuss those topics. And usually I have something or I can adapt something. So I try to adapt sessions not to be repetitive, because you can find everything on YouTube, and it's hard to be every time to build a new session from scratch, but still change some things, some small things. And for preparing the sessions, as I said, it's a process, and it takes time and effort. It's not easy to build a session, especially if you're combining with demos. So you need to think about the demo. You need to try it multiple times in order to everything to work while you're presenting. So it's a process and it requires some time, but yeah, when you have some backlog, it's easier to combine all those user group meetups.
Yeah, I agree. And Alpa, how about you? Do you have something special for preparation? Any kind of?
Yeah, for preparation, I do, especially I do research on Google and YouTube. I will see other presenter how they present same ideas, and then I learn from them, and then I do, as generally in my old presentation I have a demo. I do prepare a demo, and I do a lot of practice, and before a presenting session also I do rehearsal, and I sometimes record as well my own record video and press session, and I will try to improve that one, like by applying and keep practicing. Yeah, so I do that one, and I do have a list of sessions available, like it's already scheduled, and sometimes it's three in a one day, so sometimes it's difficult, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah, 3 in a day is really a lot, but
Yeah.
my full respect for that. Dipti, how about you? Any special preparation you are doing, or Are you also changing your sessions each and every time?
Oh, each and every time, no, each and because not only changing the content, but we should also able to be prepared, right? So for every couple of sessions of the same topic, I'll be changing the content. But every single time, it's really tough if you are more focused on giving it more, like everywhere. So what I do is I basically do search just like Alpa. I do the search on that particular topic to so that I will be able to understand what type of topics should I cover. And basically, I'll start from the abstract because abstract is the place where I spend my time more because your session is building on that. So I'll take the key points from my abstract and then I'll try to build up the outline of the session in the PPT. That way, it will become really easier for us to go ahead and fill up the content for each topic. So, uh, practice is more important. Practice and practice and practice. I do practice more in the user groups. Uh, while I talk more, right? If I sit alone and do practice, I do not understand if I'm doing it well or not. But if I practice more by giving the presentations, that way I will get the feedback and I'll know where to change. So it's like a process as you go, continuous process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Lina, how about you?
To be honest, I think that they already cover all of the amazing bits. The main thing is do your research. I would say it's just take your time. You have to feel comfortable with the topic that you have selected. So even don't push yourself too hard. Just choose a few key points that you are interested in, you enjoy, you want to research, and focus on them. I think you can definitely see it in the presenter. It's a little bit tricky to be constantly prepared and not changing anything because lots of the Azure things, they are constantly changing. So if you want to be up to date with your demos, no matter if you want to or not, you have to update them. So as again, be prepared. Similar to Alma, probably one of the biggest advices and something that I have found useful is record yourself and practice your sessions speaking out loud. It's a little bit of a joke, but my first New Start of Data session was on DBA tools, and I think that my neighbors are the biggest experts on DBA tools because I was practicing it out loud so many times. It's kind of like just to get used to the speed. You will always speak a little bit faster because you're nervous, but just to be prepared a little bit better with how long it will take you and everything. Record yourself, speak out loud. It really helps you.
Yeah. Yeah, I can only confirm that. And I think even if we are expressing very similar ideas or very similar concepts here, it's very important to actually deliver that message. But what I think, what some maybe interested people would just think right now is, well, this is all good and fine, but this all sounds like so much work and is consuming so much time. And I have such a busy work schedule. How do you actually manage to include all that work, all that preparation into your work schedule? Nicola, how do you manage?
Yeah, it's a matter of organization and willingness to do something. So yes, it's true. I won't lie. It requires time and it requires additional effort, but in the end, it's worth. So that's a kind of trade-off. So you invest something, but you get some kind of reward, which is not, of course, measurable, but it's still nice to get recognition, to get award, and in the end, it's just about good scheduling and of course support of the people with whom you live. For example, my family, I know that probably instead of spending some time with them, I will invest in creating a session or delivering a session during the weekend. But yeah, in the end, it's worth. I think it's worth.
Yeah. And Lina, how do you manage? There some recipe?
I will absolutely agree with Nicola. Although I don't think I have a little bit different approach, and I don't think I'm the best example. But for me, the key is everything that I'm sharing is things that I'm currently interested in. As I said at the beginning, I just love the whole data and data world. So constantly when I find a topic and I make my research for work or just because of pure interest, after that I just want to summarize everything and sharing it with others. I don't think of like, oh, I have the tasks to prepare a presentation or I have the task to write a blog post. I just do it when I feel it and when I actually, and it has, for me, it has always been like a hobby, like something I enjoy, and I have never thought of it like a task. And I really think that that is helping me to keep the interest.
Yeah, I completely agree. How about you, Depti? Do you agree as well? Same principle, same
Yes,
concept?
I echo everyone who had shared their thoughts on this. When for me personally, I because I have two little kids, it's like almost impossible for me to to read and learn and then try to prepare the presentation while they are awake. So what I do is while this is for all the moms out there who have little kids. Once they go to sleep every day, I will spend certain amount of time. Again, this is not something which I'm doing it hard on me, because it's just like a hobby for you. Like if you wanted to do something, if you wanted to watch a series on the Netflix, you do spend some time once you kids go to sleep, right? The same amount of time that I'm spending on this, because I feel really good about it, is because I'm trying to learn more while I do this research, and at the same time I might get ideas, put things together. It takes a lot of time, but every day if you can spend that uh, 30 minutes or 45 minutes or 1 hour every day, that will add up, and you can work on that time effectively if you can.
Okay. So maybe summarizing what we heard so far, it's like you need some extra time, you need to spend some extra effort. It's like a bit of a hobby. So I would say you need to be passionate about that. It's not only work, it's something you really would like to do. Alpa, do you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because as I said earlier, I have a hobby of learn something new and share with someone. So once I do sharing with someone, I really happy about that. So yeah, every day I give extra 1 to 2 hours on either preparing for presentation or submitting session. So yeah, I do that, and over weekend also I do some works. Yeah.
Cool. That's amazing. And I think everybody of us knows, if we are having a hobby, how hard it is to always follow up, to always spend that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's amazing. So the last question we actually thought of before, and maybe if we have time in the end, we can, or somebody from the audience wants to add additional questions. But Depti, if you would have 3 tips you want to deliver to any potential new speakers, to what you would tell them how to deliver a successful presentation, what would be those 3 tips?
The first main important tip, it worked for me, so I would like to share. Never be afraid of failure, because if you are more concentrated of like, I'm giving this presentation, but I might give it terribly, because in the first, at least for the first couple of sessions, you'll be really stressed out and scared. So what I'll say is never be afraid of failure. If you more focus on that negative part, you might not present well. So instead of that, instead of being scared of failure, just turn it around and say, I'll do my best, no matter what comes around the result of it, but I'll do my best. That is the first tip I'll give. And the second tip is, again, practice and practice and practice. If you would like to practice on your own by recording, by doing your recording, that's fine. If you wanted to present more in the user session so that other people can also learn at the same time, it will be more of your practice, do that. And the third one is, I wrote it somewhere. I have made a note of, I have to share this. So the main thing is, like, before presenting, even for this particular panel discussion, I was in a panic mode because I don't know, I have that feeling all the time. So I'll take 2 minutes, just 2 minutes before the session, take deep breaths and think everything is going to be fine and you are going to be successful at the end of the session. That feeling will actually give you the energy. And for the first few minutes of your presentation, that's the really important key minutes of your presentation. You need to show the confidence, so that taking the deep breaths and everything will be okay, fine, that feeling will actually make a successful presentation.
Thanks so much for sharing those tips. And I can confirm I'm still nervous before every session I have, and also before today's panel. So I can only confirm that taking deep breath is definitely a very good tip. So Alpa, what would your 3 tips be?
Yeah, I would like to, on addition of what Dipti said, because I'm totally agree with that. So I said it's rehearsal, like practice, practice, practice. And one important thing is mental preparation. So if I do mental preparation before session and I will run that mentally presentation in my mind, then I will be fine after that. And another thing is never give up. Keep trying, even if you're not presenting well, but don't lose your hope. Yeah, those 3 things.
That's very good. Cool. Lina, how about you? Your 3 tips.
I would definitely agree with them, and probably the first one will be on top of everything that we heard so far is just choose a topic, because I assume that here are some people who are kind of considering speaking or not, but they could be a little bit nervous. And I remember when I was choosing what to present, I was constantly doubting if anyone would want to join this topic, or if I can prepare for it, or if I want enough, if I know enough. And the only thing I would say is, if you yourself are interested in that thing, the chances that somebody else would like to join as well is good. Second tip will be, as everyone said, just prepare, make your research, make yourself feel comfortable with that topic, spend the time. That will be a huge help. And the third one is, I know it sounds a little bit trivial, but I think it's just give it a go. You never know what will happen. Go for it. If you're considering it, go for one presentation, one event, one user group. See if you enjoy it, or if you don't enjoy it, nobody will actually force you to do it again. But if you're considering it, I think you definitely have give it a go.
Yeah, I like that tip. That's a really good one. So Nicola, let's finalize that question with you. What are your
I try to keep it short. So 3 tips for me is, first one, practice. Practice makes perfection. End of story. The second one is confidence. How do you build confidence? You just need to say to yourself, I'm presenting, people came to listen to me. It doesn't matter if it's 2 people, 20, 200, they came to listen to you. So it doesn't mean that you are better or that you have a more knowledge than them, but they came to listen to you. So that should build your confidence as a speaker. And the third one is engagement. So from my experience, it doesn't matter how good you are and how good you know some technical topic. If you can't engage people to listen to you and to understand what you're talking them, it doesn't have this effect. So those 3 tips for me is practice, confidence, and engagement.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good conclusion to that one. And so with this, we're almost at time, but we have 3 minutes left. I see there are some really interesting chats and confirmations about all the things you mentioned and suggested. But there aren't any questions so far. So let me use the remaining minutes. Is there anything from the audience? Any questions you would like to ask? Also, please feel free to unmute yourself. Is there anything you want to ask?
So maybe while the audience is thinking about that, let me take the opportunity. Seeing all 4 of you here, well, including Gabi 5, but Gabi had a different journey on becoming a speaker. This makes me so happy. You as examples from what we've seen at the newcomer track, at New Stars of Data, and at the other events. This is kind of what we do this for. So let me also take the opportunity again to thank our amazing mentors. You've mentioned some of their names, and also seeing how many amazing people from this community devote their time every single day to make this happen. This is just amazing. Now I have something for the attendees in the audience. You basically got to, if you're interested in just keeping learning, that's completely fine. One of the reasons we keep doing this, Alpa, you mentioned this, that you had different mentors that gave you different perspectives. And this is basically the reason, at least for me, where we're even running these events, because I mean, we could ask the question, why is this white dude actually interested in increasing diversity? It's kind of counterproductive for him because, well, why? So the point is, with different perspectives and the more diverse our speaker set and our community gets, the more different perspective we get. And I think this is what learning is basically about. And that also gets us back to what Nicola said in one of his points. Please provide feedback, especially to new speakers. It helps existing speakers as well, especially if it's a new session. But if you deliver the same session like 20 times, you probably have an idea if people like it and what they like or not. If it's a new speaker, it is vital for you. So that's kind of, don't want to come off as rude, but that's kind of the least thing you can do. However, if you say, hey, this is for me, we have not announced a new stars of data yet. However, as I said in the chat in the previous session, I'm fully committed to keep running this event as long as this event is needed, meaning as long as there's not enough other events out there that actually provide this stage to new speakers. We've just started a new initiative, and this is what this panel will be about. So we're starting a new YouTube library. The first couple of videos have already posted there, and there will be more. Stuff like, hey, how do you build a demo? How do you build a presentation? How do you build an abstract? What are your experiences? So if you're interested in becoming a speaker but are not 100% convinced yet, check out that library. It will build over time. And we've also, we're about to announce a new mentoring initiative. So kind of coming back to what Deepthi said, like, well, I was kind of on my own preparing my abstract and everything. Then once I got accepted, I had that. We want to take this one step further. So you could already do that now by actively asking for it, but we want to kind of simplify that process. So we're going to announce kind of a mentoring pool, if you want so, mentoring Tinder. I'm not sure I can say that in according with the code of conduct. So, but with the idea being, we will provide you help one step further, or one step earlier even. And even if you decide, hey, speaking is not for me, but this was just kind of career advice, we want to do that for you. Well, not we, but our amazing mentors. So let me add the link to that speaker improvement library to the chat again, where we will also soon find the recording of this session. And with that, thank you all so much again for taking the time to share your experiences. Thank you so much, Gabi, for moderating. And again, if there's now any questions with me stealing your session time, please, everyone from the audience, unmute yourselves or just ask them on the chat.